Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you a WinForm application to create an array list and do other stuffs that with that form. So far we have seen and worked with the console applications. Console applications are good for a quick start. However, learning and working with WinForms, which is a GUI or a graphical user interface, makes the learning experience even greater and more interesting and interactive and engaging. For the learners who haven't had the chance to work on a Windows form application, I can advise them to follow along with the steps and start coding along with the following the lectures, and ask questions in the forums on question and answer for any issues faced. Additionally, I will provide the links as a resource to a few short and good tutorials available on the internet. Now, this will be good time to see how our finished form looks like. This will be the form that will be ultimately coming up with. This has got a few, these are the label fields, first item, second item, third item, fourth item, fifth item, and these are the text boxes, and these are the various buttons with the name suggestive of what they are going to achieve. Show array list, add range, try insert, and try remove. So basically now my learning outcome for today will be like to show a Windows form with a few common controls. There are a host of controls which we don't have the time to learn today, but you can look for suitable resource on the internet, and with my resource that I have pointed, you will go much further if you'd like to. And hook up the events with the button controls. Create and show an array list on the click of a button, including error handling. So we'll be seeing the exception handling or error handling, and show the use of array list methods on the button click. Like in the earlier lessons, I have created a lesson plan. So please go through this lesson plan by pausing the video for a second, and I am just going to follow the lesson plan in general. Right. So we'll end up with using the insert, remove, and add range method, which we have seen with the console application. So now we shall flip over to Visual Studio, and I have with this in the same solution collection classes project, that I will right click on the solutions, click on add new project, and I have got a host load of more templates. So I will go for this one, Windows Form App .NET Framework. All right, and name this project WinForm _ ArrayList demo. So WinForms _ ArrayList demo. WinForms _ ArrayList demo. Right. Now this time, if you look into the form, if you expand form1.cs node, you'll find a form1.designer and a form1. So form1.cs. Now, if you double click this, it will open this is known as the code behind file. So it opens the partial class form, which is derived from the form class, base class, and there is a design view, and there is a, if you click on this form1.designer.cs, there is a host lot of bunch of code automatically generated. So it has got name of the form, this dot name form1, this dot text form1, and it has loaded an event handler. It has put a client size and auto scale mode, auto scale dimension. So host load of code is automatically generated. Now this is the starting point, and if you look into the diagram again, so this is our aim, is what we are going to do. Now in Windows application, there's a toolbox tab over here, and if you click, it comes up with all the Windows forms, these are the called controls. This is the control toolbox. So what I need to get is a bunch of labels and text boxes and buttons. So the way to do it is just drag and drop or double click on these controls. So look for the label control. So just the label control, one of the label controls is dropped. Again, if you go for the label and if you drag and drop, that way also it will work. And if you can see there are 5 labels, so we need 5 labels. Click on once more. This is label 3. It is uniquely named as label 1, 2, 3. And similarly, let's go for 2 more. Label 4, label 5. Okay, so just rearrange, just drag and drop these controls all over the form. And you can just play around. So label 4, and so these are the labels. Now we'll see at the properties. So there is a property window which you can open by clicking F4. There's a property window, or you can click on from view and then from here probably view there is properties window F4, so which I've already opened with shortcut F4 key. Now if you just highlight one of these labels, the label 1 is highlighted in the property window and it is a text label 1. So this has to be first item, okay, and then there are a bunch of other properties of which I won't have the time to take everything, just a minuscule set absolutely necessary. So let me make this font size as 12 to make it more bolder, and let's change the font and the size for the label 2 and the text property. So make it, let the name be label 2 itself, and text, we are looking for the text property. So in this text property, I'll make it second item, just as we saw in the screenshot again. All right, so and then change the font size again, make it 12, and go for the default other properties. Similarly, label 3, the property that you are, the control that you are highlighting, you have got a anchor, this crossbar, and the same control is highlighted on the properties window. Okay, so if you click this drop down, you see all these labels, label 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the form 1. These are the controls available for the properties window. So if you lose the focus, you just click on the control and come over here. What this will be, should be third item. This is the third item, and similarly for the font is 12, third item, and then label 4, this will be fourth item, along with the font size. Okay, and then the last label, you can just drag and drop and align it to a position that is suitable for you in the form. Text. Now this is fifth item. And similarly, you go for changing the font size to 12. Okay, so first, second, third, fourth and fifth items, these are all the labels. Now you can just drag a label across, it's just a border across these, and then you can just move entire group. You can form a group and you can move it across the form anywhere as a group, and all will move together. Right, now if you go back to how the shape would ultimately look like, you should get a bunch of text boxes now. So how do you get the text boxes? Against the same procedure you have to follow. Text box. So text box, again, this is text box 1, and I've got for the text box, you can keep it as text box 1, but this is not a very good way, so can make it as per convention, best practice txt. Let me call it txt first, and we won't change any of the other stuff. The size is 120, that is width is 100 and width is 100, height is 20. Let it be like that, and we'll go for the other text. So again, I clicked on the toolbox and then text box, another text box. I can also copy and paste. Say copy, Control C, and then paste, and then again paste, and then again paste. So 5 text boxes I have copied and then pasted to the form. So drag and drop. Remember the 3 ways: one by double clicking the controls, picking up the control and double clicking, and another is by dragging and dropping to the form, and third way is with the existing controls, you just copy it and paste it. So let's see, just align them and change the properties. This one we have already done. So txt first. Now this one is text box. It has, because it has come from, okay, so this was copy of the first one, so I'll have to change the name. Remember, this was the name. So following the convention for the first text box, I'll make it txt. Yes, txt second. All right, and then you can guess it correctly. Following the same convention, you'll make it txt third, txt third, and then txt fourth, and then txt fifth, txt fifth. Okay, now all our text box are done. Here you can do one thing. You can just group them together by just drawing a border across them, and then if you click on the format, you can align all the lefts or centers or rights, or you can make them all same size, width, height, or both. Let's make width and height both the same, and let me just put a bit of a gap because that will prove handy, as we'll see later. Finally, we have to drop a few buttons, there are 4 buttons. If you look into this and name these buttons appropriately, so button here, button 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, but just drag and drop 3, 4, 2, 1. So again, you can make group them together by dragging the mouse across, enclosing them, and then you can align them. You can just make it a little bit more to the right. You can see that there is a margin coming, so that all the buttons are lined up right below the text boxes. And also you can click on the format and make these buttons the same size. They probably are already. Okay, so what I will do is I'll just click anywhere, so this is not grouped anymore. So you can individually drag and drop. Now for button 1, I will make this text as show array list. Show array list, and the name of this button should be something more meaningful according to our programming convention. So btn, I can make it show array list. Show array list. That property is not valid. Okay, so now this time it will be valid. So you can see that there is not enough space for the button to have the full name. So you can just drag it with the handle to make it clear, so make it have all the space. Now let's change the font size here also to make it more visible. 4-color font. Let's make it 12 again. Okay, and right, and then this button 2, this should have a label add range. Add range, and the name of the button is not button 2, it will be something like btn add range. Btn add range, to go with the variable naming convention, this camel casing. Okay, and let's change the font to here to 12. Okay, right, and the button 3 should have a text which is try insert, and button 4th one will be try remove at. So okay, so button 3 is also, it has got a font size of 12, and text is try insert, and then let us name it btn insert. Okay, right. All right, so now button 4 is the last one. Property is should be try remove at, and name should be btn try remove at. Okay, that's fine. btn try remove at, that's fine. So where is the font again? Click on the expand the font node, make it 12, and we are done. So try remove at. If we just make it a bit wider, it will be accommodated on one line. And then what I can do is I can just put a border around this to group them, and then click on format again, make the same size, height width both. Okay, so now they are hard up on each other. Just give it a bit of space. All right, so with these this is the way that we make the form, and because it's getting too long, let me finish it. So from a quick recap of the lecture, we observed that we have learned how to create a Windows form app, learned the use of toolbox to drag and drop controls to the form, learned to edit some of the properties of the controls from properties window, and finally learned also to resize and align the controls.